wife's 1948 Chevrolet pickup truck. This thing started its life as a 1-ton version and had been a tow truck. I found it on eBay and bought it there. It was out of Minnesota, and we brought it back here. As you can see, we've done a little modification to it. It's now 2-wheel drive, it's lowered, it's got all of the trick stuff that you would do for a street rod kind of truck, one-off wheels. It's a manual transmission because hot rods should be manual. It's a 5-speed Tremec in it. And then all of the components you see here are all new or modified to make it look like it does. A lot of work to create this thing. We did it in 10 weeks, start to finish. So you have to kind of keep it moving when you're trying to stay in front of the world with something. So moving under the hood, this is a GM LS 6.2 liter. It started life as a LS3 block, and then it's been modified, and then we have LSA cylinder heads. It has a Magnuson supercharger, 2650 on top of it. All of the internals are forged and heavy duty. This was our first ever hydrogen vehicle, and we just didn't know what we were going to learn. You know, the analytics tell you it's going to run really hot. You're going to have all these things to deal with. This has forged pistons in it, forged rods. I shortened the rod and get a bigger piston so that I could give it more heat transfer. It's got oil squirters to cool the bottom of the pistons for the oil. The cylinder heads have Inconel valves, just everything that you can do, right? It has a one-off custom ground camshaft that Comp Cams did for us, and that's to my specific specifications. I won't tell you all the details, but I will tell you it has a wide center line. So our center line's 121.5. But all the supporting components are the same as you would use on a gasoline engine. This is one of the major differences. This is a hydrogen regulator. So we run 5,000 PSI in the tank when it's full, and this regulates it down to, we're about 9 bar, which is roughly 120 PSI at the injectors. We had to machine this plate because the only injectors that existed when we built this were small. We had to run 16 of them. So we have one down in the traditional location under here, and then we machined this plate and added one more per cylinder in the upper. It's all controlled by a Bosch ECU, and makes 500, right at 500 horsepower at the crank. And if you drove it, you couldn't tell the difference between hydrogen and gasoline.